Opening tap controlled by the home team in the gold unis tonight.
Obviously, the Bulldogs will be man-to-man defensively. It'll be some great matchups, especially the one out front. Hubbard's got to stay in front of Honor.
Freshman versus senior. Tigers go to work. And a good look inside to Bates. Bounce pass to Butler, and that shot rejected on the way up. Sean Jones Jr. comes away with it.
One of the better defensive teams is Mississippi State team. And they will try to force turnovers. Good steal, though, by the Tigers.
Bates inside as you take a look at the starting five for the Bulldogs. And Missouri on the scoreboard first.
Interesting matchup. Bates will be guarding Hubbard. Now, Hubbard will come off a lot of screens and be looking for quick jump shots.
Tolu Smith is healthy. He's been a big-time difference maker, leading scorer, 17 points per game.
And expect him to get down in the low post. He's matched up. Missouri's not very big inside.
Hubbard, the quick trigger. That's a three, and it's all net, and that's what he does.
And that's off quickly. It is explosion off the jump. Quick release, and you better get to him early.
Kurt Lewis gets his second start of the season tonight. Tamar Bates, Noah Carter, Jordan Butler, Nick Honor. No Sean East the second. Trent Pierce remains out. And Caleb Grill trying to work his way back into the rotation. Still not clear, dealing with that wrist injury. Here's Carter from downtown, in and out.
Not unusual that Missouri will shoot a lot of threes. Noah Carter's best strength is to pick and pop.
Bulldogs lead the SEC in three-point percentage defense this season. Limiting teams to just 29% behind the arc. Tolu Smith with the bounce.
One of the weaknesses of this Missouri team is guarding the rim. They get beat inside. Even though they might have height, don't have enough girth inside to keep bigs away from the rim.
Tolu coming off another double-double. Their win against Georgia on Wednesday night. Dogs fell at Arkansas a few minutes before we came on the air. That's certainly a developing story. So Musbus tries to get back on track. Here comes MSU. Hubbard left open. Instead, it gets it to Smith. How about a spin? Lost the handle. Two turnovers early for the Bulldogs.
And we know Missouri will want to push the pace. They'll want to find some easy looks early against this Bulldog defense.
Yeah, you want to get things going before that defense gets set, right?
Well, once they get set, they are stifling. Good pass, good catch, easy finish.
Second bucket for Mizzou. Mississippi State lead is 1. It is a big game from the Bulldogs' perspective. You talk about protecting resumes this time of year. Joe Lunardi likes where MSU sits currently. It's on the right side of the bubble, but things can change quickly in mid-February.
Well, where the Tigers stand right now, it would be a quad 3 loss if the Bulldogs lose this ball game, and they can't afford to do that.
Jones inside, no. A second look, no. And here's Bates with a high step. Over to Butler. And a foul call, free throws coming for numeral 0.
Missouri, again, not afraid to run in this building.
Chris Jans, year number 2. They went to the tournament last year. Sonny, I got to tell you, we talked to him pregame right here and conducted a little interview. I said, Coach, what would it be like to get that first road win tonight? They're tired of answering those questions. Mississippi State 0-6 on the road before this game this evening. They're ready to silence some of those critics out there that have looked at the resume and thought about the notion that, hey, MSU so far away from Starkville, they've won a game on a neutral court, not a true road game.
Well, so think of their 5 road games in the SEC: at South Carolina, at Kentucky, at Florida, at Ole Miss, at Alabama.
Good teams.
That's a load. That's a load. Not many. Nobody is winning at those places.
Tigers grab the lead. That foul called on Sean Jones Jr. And Mabor Majak, and Jock checks in for the first time.
Missouri will not be slighted on size of guys that come in.
Stands in at over 7'2". Getting more PT lately. Jimmy Bell Jr. on the floor for the first time for the Bulldogs, and that shot rejected. Cameron Matthews swatted out of bounds, and Dennis Gates, year number 2. His team also went to the dance last year, and It's been a different year this season. Injuries have played a massive role in this 0-10 start in league play.
Well, they really have. And when you watch his demeanor on the sideline, he talks about consistency. So no matter if they win big like they did last year and won some big games, or they're down and they're losing, he seems to have the same demeanor. That's what he's teaching his players.
Bates' bounce pass is going to be picked off. Cameron Matthews on the move. He got caught in no man's land. Turns it over. 4 minutes in. Home team out in front 6-5. Just underway inside Mizzou Arena. And you mentioned it right out of the gate. They're going to find ways to win some games.
Sooner or later.
Especially here at home. They've been close. Very competitive in first 30 to 35 minutes of these contests. Haven't been able to finish. Sean Jones can't finish here, and that's swatted out. Back to the Tigers.
Interesting. Jones just simply lost control of the basketball. Now, Missouri's a team that does not shoot a lot of free throws. They shoot a high percentage. They don't shoot a lot because they rely on the jump shot so much.
What is Tamar Bates' free throw percentage as of last check? Have you looked at that?
Well, 95% in conference play, I know that.
It's pretty good.
He doesn't miss.
McConnor missed that elbow J. After the rebound by Matthews, here comes Josh Hubbard. All-time leading scorer in Mississippi's high school basketball history. For 4,000 points in his career. Started.
And Hubbard's is good. He's good off the bounce. Some just think he's a catch and release guy, but he can put it on the floor and do a lot of things.
Bell in the offensive glass, a fresh 20. He'll put it up and come up short. Kurt Lewis blocked. Hubbard jumped up, and that was also Bell.
I believe maybe Hubbard got that one on the way up. You know, Bell's 280 pounds. That is a mountain of a man inside for Noah Carter to have to match up with. Carter's 235.
Davis checks in. The dump off to Bell from 16, in and out.
As of right now, Roy, if either team could get on a little bit of a run, there'd be a separation.
Carter outside the base. That's a three off the heel. Ahead to Jones. And now Hubbard stop and pop. That's another three.
He's the purest of the shooters along with Bates in the arena, but he's the highest riser on jump shot in the arena.
We asked him the question today, when did the idea that you could take over games, be a volume shooter, really start to take hold? He goes, when I was in 8th grade and playing varsity, we weren't great. I had to score a lot. That's what I did. All started then. Carter, no, and Bell the rebound. The Tigers without a point in the last 2.5 minutes.
Well, you mentioned over 4,300 points. That means he's got a lot of games. You've got to be able to go off the bounce. You've got to throw it high off a window like he did. He can score it with the left hand. The first half at Ole Miss, he was spectacular with these kind of plays. Some people, again, think catch and release. No, you score 4,300. It's a lot of angles. You can catch it. You can jump up. If they're not close, you're in danger. Now, hesitation. Look how high off the window. There's 3 yellow jerseys around him. No problem.
It's 5'10". He's just a freshman, and he's got 8 Mississippi State's 10 points to start, averaging almost 15 per coming in. 3-time SEC Freshman of the Week already as well for number 13 in black tonight, Josh Hubbard. So lead at 4. Dennis Gates calls a timeout. What's the message? What we've seen so far from his perspective, Sonny?
I still think for them, push the pace. Get off the dribble so much. There's times that Missouri bogs down because there are a number of guys that want to pound it on the floor. Understandably so when you don't win. Each guy sometimes does too much themselves. Move the ball. They've got good outside shooters, but there's got to be better ball movement, body movement to get those guys open. Bates, Honor, both can shoot it now. Robinson in the ball game. They've got guys that can make shots, but if you're just dribbling and going nowhere, you're in trouble.
Dennis Gates told us today he wants Nick Honor to shoot 10 threes tonight. He's been wanting that this season. He's struggled to get those shots off at times.
I wish my coach would have said to do that.
I mean, that's a dream. That's like a constant green light
for
the man with the ball right now, Nick Honor. How about this? A good sight. Jesus Carolero checks in for the first time in 4 games. Up and in.
He's got a European game. He's the form kid. He knows how to play. He is a fabulous passer. Now he's going to give this team energy just by coming in together.
First 3-pointer attempt by Honor is no good.
So he's got 9 more attempts, you're saying?
I mean, at least it sounded like Coach Gates wanted him to take more than 10. I've never heard a coach say that about a player, and then that player hasn't been able to get off those attempts.
And the Bulldogs understand Honor. He hit the game winner against them last year, the step back 3 from the left wing.
That shot coming in overtime with about 7 seconds left. Keyshawn Murphy on the floor, and he'll shoot 2. Jordan Butler picks up the foul. Murphy at the stripe, 73% this season. And don't forget, only 1 game coming up Wednesday right here on SEC Network. It's a top 15 showdown, however. Sonny, you'll be interested in this one. Meechie Johnson leading South Carolina against Janai Broome and Auburn, live from Neville Arena. Coverage begins at 8:30 Eastern.
And I will be there.
That's right.
That will be fun. Hey, Tolu Smith's still on the bench. Been there for a while. Now he gets up. We come back in the game.
1 of 2 at the line for Murphy. Bulldogs have been battling injuries as well. They'd love to get DJ Jeffries kind of back into the fold and trying to get everybody at full strength entering the heart of conference play. It is February. It does become a grind, right?
It's a long season. It's a marathon. It is really tough. Now, Mississippi State, after tonight, they have a week off. They don't play till next Saturday. Maybe they get Jeffries back by then.
Tigers get some time off as well. Carolero, Martin, the reverse, not this time.
Dennis Gates wanted a foul. Carolero Martin late getting back. Hubbard trying to get a bump.
And he did, and that foul's called on Robinson. He can't believe it.
Robinson, an outstanding freshman himself, doesn't get as many minutes as a guy like Hubbard, but defensively moves his feet, leads the Tigers in steals. He had knocked that ball away once. Now look what Hubbard does. Gets him at least up in the air. I think maybe the contact caused by Hubbard, smart play by him, if you can get the whistle.
That was a James Harden type move.
Yeah, there we go. And if you can get the call, you do it.
100%. Hubbard an 84% free throw shooter. He's got 8 points tonight.
I know someone's at home saying ball don't lie. That's why he missed that.
100%. One of 2 for 13 in black. And now substitutions coming in as Kurt Lewis checks back on the floor.
When you look at this lineup for Missouri, Bates is basically the scorer on the floor. Chris Jan's one of the better defensive coaches in the country. The Bulldogs sometimes will eat you alive if you don't have many offensive weapons.
Robinson with the handles and then turns it over. 4-point lead for Mississippi State. 8 minutes in here at Mizzou Arena. Dickie Nutt, assistant coach for Dennis Gates here at Mizzou. We found out earlier this month he had been diagnosed with cancer. He began his chemotherapy treatments earlier in the week on Wednesday, and Mizzou wearing a special pin this game tonight, thinking about their assistant coach who has taken a leave of absence from the program, Sonny. And we asked Dennis Gates about how Coach Nutt is doing earlier today, and he said he's been in touch with his brother Houston and his family. They're taking great care of him, and everything at this point is going well, but we're certainly thinking about you, Coach Nutt. Get better, hang in there, let's beat this thing together. And there's a lot of people rooting you on here inside this arena in this community.
Yeah, no doubt. I've known Dickie Nutt actually played college ball against Dickie and his brother Houston were at Oklahoma State when I was in Missouri. So I've known him a long time. Saw him a couple weeks ago right before the diagnosis. We were on a plane together. He was going to recruit. I was going to do a game. So great man. The players here are thinking about him as this fan base is.
Coach Gates said that too. He said our energy at this practice today stems from our thoughts with Coach Nutt, and really had a lot of great things to say about him. So we're thinking about you, Dickie. Get better, and let's do this.
Matchup zone defense now by this Tiger team. Shooters on the floor for the Bulldogs. Not many. You got Shaq Moore along the baseline.
Sean Davis got trapped. The handoff to Murphy. Pops back out to Matthews. Davis left open. And the rebound controlled by the Tigers. Ahead to Bates. Nick Honor his second three.
You know, that's a good look. That's a shot they want. They had the defense scrambling, ball moved, open look for Honor. 40% three-point shooter. He's going to make one of those.
Murphy inside, powers that one in.
What a great pass by Davis right down the pipe. Davis last game out against Georgia, 8 assists, only 1 turnover.
That's pretty good. Lead at 6. Murphy had 10 points in that win against Georgia. Carolero was fouled. Carolero Martin will shoot 2.
The man they just call Zeus. Jesus, but take a look at this pass. Thread it right between the defense. If the hands are down, that ball's going to get through, and a terrific finish. Davis, like I mentioned, 8 assists, 1 turnover. That's what they need from him. He leads his team in over 3 assists a ball game. Solid with the basketball, does not turn it over very often.
Foul was called on Murphy. And Zeus at the stripe will get one more. He's 4 for 4 in the season before that miss.
I'm glad you said that after the miss.
I try to be respectful on free throw streaks. I really do.
There's another fella that will come up later in the game. We won't say anything until after he shoots. Is that fair?
I mean, listen, I am convinced, and I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, your broadcasting team has control over free throw streaks. It is proven. If you need me to end a streak, I can do it.
That's why we're not saying anything about what the guy you just saw, number 2, standing there.
Lead at 6. You think I'm joking? Here's Josh Hubbard.
Wow, look at that ball move.
Matthews could have traveled, no whistle. Tolu Smith. Matthews jumped high for it. And finally a foul called on 4 in black.
Solid fight by this Missouri team, and the reason is you're going against one of the better athletes in the SEC, Cam Matthews. And I don't care if football, basketball, whatever sport, Cam Matthews is one of the best athletes in the SEC. He's strong, he's physical, and if you can wrestle the ball away from him, you're playing hard.
Mizzou already with 5 blocks. Does that tell you anything about what we're seeing inside and maybe their effort?
I think Dennis Gates and his staff has put an emphasis because this team does not rebound well, and their numbers show it. But I think what we've seen tonight so far, it's a fight because we know that the Bulldog squad is physical and tough around the rim.
Robinson with a crease outside to Honor. He thought about it. The floater. There it is.
Tough shot. Tough shot.
Tolu Smith. Oh, he beat the secondary. He was wide open.
That's a terrific run by Smith and a great pass by Shaq Moore, but defensively, got to be able to run back.
It's like Travis Kelce behind the 49ers secondary tomorrow for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it makes no sense, right? You know the best player on the field.
He's always open in the red zone. How is that possible?
How is that possible? A little bit like Tolu Smith running the floor. How's that possible?
That's right. Josh Hubbard, not this time. Butler Sky for the rebound, and a foul is going to be called, I believe, on Carter.
Josh shot that from the boot hill in the state. Down there from Sykeston, Missouri, where he took that shot. He has no fear to shoot it deep. Look at Noah Carter. Just keeps pushing, 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 pushing. And again, that's, you know, Carter is 6'6", trying to fight some of the biggest bodies in the SEC night in, night out. Not easy.
Jones, brilliant pass inside to Shaquille Moore.
Shaquille Moore took it out, simply stepped back in play for an easy 2. It's not so much Missouri on the defensive end, but offensively, they cannot get anything going against this Bulldog squad.
First foul on Josh Hubbard. The lead at 8, Dennis Gates. I will say this, his practice, his shoot around this morning and it was the first thing I said to him when he came over to us. High energy. There is no loss of desire. There is no loss of effort. I mean, they're getting after it, and I think he's tried some different things with all the injuries and everything that's happened this season to make sure his guys, stay fresh. Carter inside powers that one home.
Well, you know, it would be difficult when you're losing games. It'd be easy to get down. Dennis Gates hasn't allowed these guys to get down because he said every day's a new day. In life, that's how it is. I think of this defense by Mississippi State, and they call Chris Jans the dentist, right? CBS Sports insider John Rothstein said, "Have you ever had a root canal without Novocaine? That's like playing against Mississippi State." Terrific line.
Poked out by Bates. It'll stay on this end, 19 to shoot. They do defend. Now, the one thing I will say, I think even Chris Jans would tell you this, their on-ball defense this season compared to last year, it probably not where he wants it to be to make a run in the NCAA tournament, and I think that's a button he continues to press with his team.
And he's, let's be honest, I don't think he'll ever be satisfied.
That's true,
his
too.
Personnel.
Yeah.
He's tough. Now, with Jeffries out of their lineup tonight because of his knee injury, that takes another great defender off. That's a tough matchup. That's a senior against a freshman, a guy that's been around quite a while in Tolu Smith, going against Jordan Butler, a senior or a freshman, just trying to learn how to guard a guy this talented in the post.
Second foul on Butler, and Tolu already with 4 and 4 on the board.
And a good look at Tolu and his numbers. Impressive, obviously. Interesting what Chris Jans told us. He's right-handed, but he plays a left-handed game. He likes to go left, power with his left.
So think about that if you're a defender, and he's right-handed, but in all actuality, he plays like he's left-handed. That's going to throw you for a loop. It really is.
And even if you thought, I'll send him back to the right, you don't want to send him with right hand, right? You don't even, they said, well,
you're messing with my mind now. Yeah.
He's going to go left and drop step it. Talented player. It's been fun to watch over the years when he's healthy. That's been the tough part.
Lead at 7. Big possession for Mizzou.
This is a better offensive team for Dennis Gates, better shooters. Carter, Bates, Honor.
Connor Vanover on the floor. Third three for Honor, and this one drops.
Love's going to his left and stepping back left.
40% from downtown this season. That'll slice the lead down to 4. Here's Hubbard. And now Bates, full head of steam. No foul. And Bulldogs basketball when we come back. Nick Honor started his career at Fordham, then transferred to Clemson. He's got the green light tonight. Coach wants him to shoot 10.
But he's an intense guy that loves coaching ball. And he's brought an energy to this Bulldog squad and the community of Starkville.
4-point game out of the timeout, inside out, and that's Josh Hubbard. That's another 3 in and out for him.
Hubbard's got to hit those because it was a great screen by Tolu Smith.
Carter rejected by Jones. And Sean Jones Jr. climbed the ladder that time. Tolu Smith triple team. Travel.
So I would say this, Tolu Smith has a tough time sometimes scoring over size. Guys that are 7'1", 7'2", Vanover at 7'5". He likes to go around. How about this block defensively, the hustle? Noah Carter thought he might get one there, but man, oh man, the Bulldogs get back quickly.
Wingspan of Sean Jones Jr. Factor there for the sophomore from Houston.
Back to my point about Tolu Smith, I think he scores better around guys than he does over the top. Doesn't have a lot of jump hooks and floaters, and Vanover goes 7'5", so that's difficult.
He's a throwback player, right? You don't see a lot of old school big men that aren't shooting the 3. He's banging down low. Carter for 3, no.
And what we've seen this year more from Tolu Smith is that he can catch it at 15, put it on the floor, and make a move to get to the rim.
Bell on his pocket pick by Honor. Nick Honor on the move.
Cam Matthews caused that steal. Cam Matthews, with his speed, stayed right on Honor's hip and knocked that ball away. Be picked up by Bell.
Matthews, a senior, it seems like he's been at Mississippi State forever, but he's got a different gear. We've seen him hit it tonight, 4 in black.
Well, I've said this before. He is the one guy. Like, we talk about guys that can guard 1 through 4. He can guard 1 through 5. Like, he can guard a point guard, and he can guard a center, and he can do it equally and be good at it.
Third in the conference in steals, 2 per game. Low scoring first half. Jones for 3. That's an air ball. And poked down. It'll stay on this in 8 to shoot.
The Bulldogs shoot 31% beyond the three-point line. That is 12th in the SEC.
I don't think you or I looked at this game and thought there would be a lot of points scored tonight, right? I mean,
No, Missouri's had their struggles. Sean East not playing again tonight. That's nearly 16 points a ball game. The one thing is Mississippi State is used to playing these kind of games, the tug of war. That is a deep shot.
Hubbard off the mark and the shot clock winding down. Here's Bates. He'll get it back. And Bates was fouled.
Finally got contact. He has been searching for contact. Here's the first one. Probably pretty good defense. Stayed with it. All of a sudden you got pushing, shoving, and there's a rejection.
Jones picks up the personal. And here's one of the top free throw shooters in the SEC. Every Thursday on the SEC Network and the ESPN app, we'll have a women's basketball doubleheader. Next week, we're featuring our second game at 9 Eastern. Vanderbilt and Texas A&M. Jordan Cambridge on the road down in College Station. Also available on the ESPN app.
So, folks, if you don't know, Tamar Bates had 37 straight free throws in a row. He was 2 away from tying the record here at Missouri by Jason Sutherland. And we didn't mention anything about it, did we, Paul?
We did not, but it was in the air. It was in the air.
That's too bad.
With our whole crew.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Keyshawn Murphy inside in a strong finish. I actually saw a graphic that was going to break the news that he hit 40 straight.
Yeah, well, he can start a new streak. He's now got 1 in a row. You know, Murphy played well for the Bulldogs against Georgia. 10 points, hit a couple threes. They need, again, with DJ Jeffries out, they need another guy. They need production, people who can produce.
Here's Matthews. And stepping out of bounds was Murphy, and he knew it.
It's always an odd one to me, that you step on a sideline, just running down the floor. I know you're spacing up behind the three-point line, but
it happens a lot.
It does. It happens way more than it should. You should always understand where you are. Sometimes it happens if you're in the corner and you catch it and you kind of take a half step back. I've never understood that one either, when you know where you are on the court.
Under 5 to go in the half. The lead is 5. And Bates launching. Too strong. Josh Hubbard another gear. And free throws coming for 13 in black. If I asked you the question, how many free throws could you make in a row right now? If you just went out there, knowing you played in the NBA, knowing how well you played here at Mizzou, how many do you think you could throw down consecutively?
Well, I don't know that. I mean, I think I could get on a little run, but then you might miss a few. But a few years ago I tried it.
And?
Made a few, 124.
124!
I was in Gainesville. So I was challenged by someone.
124 in a row.
Could I make any free throws? And I
1, 2, 4.
But I'll be honest. Number 36 should have missed. Number about 78 should have missed.
But they did.
They didn't. They fell in.
And
so
how long had it been since you had actually shot free throws before then?
4 or 5 years.
So you came out cold.
And I haven't done that since.
And you made 124 in a row. I would like to see what that looks like today, honestly. At some point, our next game, we're going to do that.
I had rotator cuff surgery, so we're going to see if we could lift those arms up to get a ball in. Oh, you never know. You know, Roy, they did pay me to shoot at one time in my life.
So that's, in other words, you were pretty good, and we all know that.
There's something about that.
There is.
If they pay you to do it, that means you probably do it at a high level.
Well said. Fouls called against Mizzou. And the jersey's in the rafters. The number 20. Old 2-0. Old reliable. It's up there.
You want to hear something funny about number 20? I wore it my whole life. My oldest brother Bob wore 20. But when I was a kid, I lived 3 years in Lincoln, Nebraska, outside Lincoln, Nebraska, in Seward. They won 2 national championships in football, the Cornhuskers. Johnny Rogers, JR superstar, Johnny Rogers, Heisman Trophy winner, was number 20. And that's why I wore 20.
Did not know that. Blocking foul called against Robinson. That's his 3rd. And he remains on the deck. That was a tough collision.
Wow. And one of the best defenders on this Missouri team.
And Dennis Gates all the way out past his player, having a word with his veteran officiating crew. And Doug Shows may go over and have a look at that last sequence.
So one of the things, Robinson is terrific with his feet, active with his hands, and knows how to play. The challenge today is taking any charges is so difficult. And getting in front of guys, you almost have to be there.
Oh, and that's a shot right on the back of the head that came in from Murphy after that initial contact.
I would say, Roy, a year ago, 2 years ago, you might get the call because you beat the offensive guy to the spot, right? It's so difficult today to get a charge. Defensively. You got to be set. After review, common foul on Robinson.
His 3rd.
You know, we talked to Chris Jans about that this morning.
We did.
About his team, what has affected them defensively, and I've talked to Buzz Williams about it because A&M used to take a lot of charges. The new rules, because you almost have to be perfectly set to get that call.
Last sequence, the 3rd foul called on Anthony Robinson. Big day in the SEC. Alabama scored over 100 points again, and it's win against LSU. How about the Kentucky-Gonzaga game? That was a contest a lot of people were watching, and honestly surprised to see Mark Few's team come to the Commonwealth and find a way to win.
3rd loss at home in a row for the Wildcats, and what we saw is what we've seen. They don't defend very well, and not well enough to win at the highest level. They have the offense to win, but they've got to be better defensively.
Texas A&M trying to spring the upset currently over on ESPN against Tennessee.
Arkansas with a good win at home against Georgia today.
Muss is 3-7 in the league all of a sudden.
Yeah, you know, they can, they'll stir it up, right? Oh, wow, what a pass. I think a pass. If not, it's an assist.
That's a dime. Vanover puts it down. Tallest player in program history. Bulldogs back to work. This Missouri rather being the hang-around team so far in this one. Josh Hubbard getting a breather. Outside to Shaq Moore. That's a 3. That's a big shot.
And nice pass by Matthews. When Vanover's in, they'll play more zone defense. Put him right in the middle. You got to shoot over the top. Matthews with the kick out. Shaq Moore, again, another option. And he's played well last 4 games, averaging over 12.5 a game.
Vanover for 3. He's got 4 this season. Not that time.
And that's your 7'5" guy with that smooth stroke out the corner. That's what he does. Here's the lob by Honor. I first thought it was a shot. No, it's a pass. Or we're giving him a pass.
I'm giving him a dime on that. That looked like an assist. It was close. Nick would tell you that's an assist.
He's earned that right for you to put down an assist.
You got 2 of the tallest players in America in the conference between Jamarian Sharp and Connor Vanover. Mizzou in the bonus the rest of the way. And Carolero Martin will get 1 more.
The foul, I believe, was on Shaq Moore.
That's correct.
For blocking out, grabbing and holding.
The 13 and goal has given Dennis Gates a little bit of a scoring punch.
A little more energy in that lineup. And he's not known, again, as a scorer, more of a distributor of the ball. But all teammates like playing with him because of how he plays. Man-to-man now, Vanover away from the bucket. Maybe more things are open inside.
Moore gets Honor. Shot clock down to 6. Here's Matthews. Moore wide open. Well, that's his spot, and he makes him pay.
2 in a row. Left corner, right corner. Big basket.
Shaq Moore with 8 points.
Bates has been quiet.
That continues for the time being. Back to MSU.
We always talk when we think of Mississippi State, who is a third scorer. We know we got Hubbard, we got Tolu Smith. And game by game, it doesn't have to be the same guy, but I mentioned Shaq Moore, a guy that can distribute and also score the ball. Last 4 ball games, 12.5 points a game.
Let's say this, too, about Mississippi State. If they make the NCAA tournament right now, they are on that right side of the bubble. They're a dangerous team because of all of the experience and guys like Shaq Moore and Tolu Smith and DJ Jeffries and Cameron Matthews. They've been playing basketball in Starkville forever, it feels like.
And the one thing we see every, twice a week with these teams, they're playing against the same teams all the time. So people in this league know how to play against Mississippi State. Great move. That's what we're used to seeing from Tolu Smith. But you put in the NCAA tournament where a team hasn't played this kind of team. And again, the mixture of a Josh Hubbard gives them something in the offensive end they haven't had for a few years.
Smith the bucket and 7 points and 5 rebounds already. Skip pass for Nick Honor. Second triple goes down for number 10 in goal.
And assist by Zeus. They went to the double team on him, but he is fabulous at finding open teammates.
Honor's got 8. Approaching a minute to play in the half. Josh Hubbard stop and pop. And Zeus with quality minutes tonight after grabbing the rebound. A couple of points off the bench. One of the foul, didn't get the whistle. Matthews, the jump stop, the bounce pass, fundamentally sound. And Smith rejected. Outside to Hubbard. A sloppy sequence that time, and after all of that, the ball stays on this end.
I was going to let you handle all that. I wasn't sure who was just going to pick the ball up and go the other way. Active hands by Honor. He had knocked the first one away from Tolu Smith. Zeus a little bit late.
And a timeout called as we hit that replay. We will stay here and remind you that gymnastics will take over the SEC network every Friday night. This week, our doubleheader starts with number 6 Florida taking on Mizzou right here, 7 Eastern, a top 12 showdown. Then Auburn and LSU, 14th ranked Tigers and the Bayou Bengals, 9 Eastern, coming up on Friday from the PMAC right here on the SEC network and the ESPN app.
I was thinking they're going to honor the alumni. This is alumni weekend, so players are back, but they're going to honor the 2009 team that went to Elite 8, and Mike Anderson, Coach Mike Anderson's back. And why do I think of him? Because my last point was, Mike Anderson used to say, when you're playing conference, you're playing family. You know everything about each other. So you can go scouting reports, but everybody knows. They know how Tolu Smith plays, right? So it's difficult. They're like fist fights all game long. You try to figure out how you can get an edge from one game to the next. But that all changes when tournament time starts. You got new blood, new faces, and they don't know how to guard them.
Alumni weekend, and Coach Gates told us that he's got some of the guys coming back to talk to the team yesterday and also today, and honoring 2 teams, 94 and 2009 Tigers, that both reached the Elite 8, and a foul called on the inbounds.
They had a deal last night where all of the current players were attended with all the old players, which is a great mix for some of the young guys that are currently playing, to hear stories and thoughts and ideas about, well, not only basketball, but life. And Coach Gates does a great job of getting older former players involved.
Do you fall into that older former players category? I don't classify you in that older category.
I'm a former player.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
But I didn't want to say older.
You see me walk and all that. I'm fine. I feel good. I feel good.
You look great.
Now my teammates look old.
Of course they do.
Those guys look really old.
Scott checks out. Matthews gets one more free throw.
You know, Roy, for a guy like me, I moved to Missouri in the 7th grade. So in the history of Missouri basketball, I've kind of seen a lot from really the early 70s all the way, because I live here and I broadcast a lot of games for when they're in the Big 12 or the SEC.
Honor, a deep three, and it goes.
All he needs is a little space because he's an excellent shooter.
Nick Honor with 11. The shot clock is off, and Mizzou is back in it.
You've got the 3 ball handlers / shooters with Davis, Shaq Moore, Hubbard's in the corner. They'll run this clock down.
Here's Davis. Deshaun retreats, now attacks. And at the buzzer, that shot is wide left. The lead at 4 for the visitors from Starkville in search of their first road win of the season. MSU 12-1 when leading at the half, and 30-4. Chris Jans leads at the half. Let's get you the studio.
Halfway there.
He almost sounded disappointing that he hasn't averaged 10 3 attempts. That makes sense. 10 3-point attempts per game coming into this game. He wants that number down the stretch. Shaq Moore.
Well, he had a great first half, and that's a great start to this second half.
He's got 11 now, so he's in double figures, and a perfect 3 for 3 from downtown for Shaq.
So he's got 11. Hubbard's got 10. Tolu Smith had 7 in that first half.
And a foul called on the cut that goes against Sean Jones Jr. That's his 3rd.
He was trailing Tamar Bates on the cut. Bates ended his streak in that first half at 37 free throws in a row, and I saw Jason Sutherland walk by, and I said, your record's still alive at 39.
You can take our graphics operator. We saw the graphic pregame, Bobby. Congratulations, 40 in a row, the new record. No, didn't happen. That free throw wasn't close. Good take by Kurt Lewis.
Powerful body at 6'5", 220 pounds.
His first bucket of the night. Tolu Smith will draw a double team, then step out of bounds.
Well, here's the power of what Kurt Lewis can do. Now, he hasn't scored a lot of points. Junior College Player of the Year a year ago. Hasn't played a lot of minutes, 9 minutes a game, but has started the last couple ball games because of Sean East being out.
Second start, in fact, tonight. Big possession for the Tigers, trailing by 5. Carter with position. He'll get it against the smaller Moore. Stripped away by Matthews. Another turnover. Josh Hubbard. Left-handed finish. No. The putback by Matthews. Yes.
Right, I would say this, the Bulldogs look like they have a lot of energy coming out of the locker room. Not only was the steal, the guy missed it, but it was Matthews and Tolu Smith were the 2 guys following it up. They were on a dead sprint.
Butler kept that pivot foot the same location somehow, then turns it over. The steal by Hubbard.
Well, we all know if the big guy brings the ball down low, guards are going to pick it away, and Hubbard did.
Tigers with 12 turnovers so far tonight. Tolu Smith could have been 3, instead 2 free throws.
So observation, Mississippi State is sprinting harder on offense. Tolu Smith trying to get low post position early, and they're trying to get him the basketball early.
You know what? I didn't like the Chris Jans as the dentist. I don't like that.
It's not my favorite either.
He's more of the scientist. He's the basketball scientist. You picture him in the laboratory, and he's rubbing his 2 hands together, coming up with this next version of a matchup zone to try to take the opposition out of their game.
With another defensive strategy that he's going to come at you.
Well, the law firm of Hubbard, Moore, and Smith off to a great start. It's been more than enough to lead at 7. The rebound by Bates.
Pretty common, though, for Mississippi State to look like that. Usually it's Hubbard and Smith, and then you throw in another guy, and it's been Shaq Moore really the last few ball games.
Gates was fouled. And that was close to a travel or just simply turning it over.
You know, defensively, I think the Bulldogs, obviously they're man-to-man 99.9% of the time, but they can interchangeable parts. They can switch and they communicate so well that when you run the high screen, it doesn't bother them. They just switch because their bigs are as athletic as their guards are.
High ball screen for Bates. He'll give it up to Carter. And against Moore, was banged down. Shaq Moore didn't like the call. That's his second.
Shaq Moore, obviously a smaller player guarding a bigger player, but Carter's not going around him. Here's where he hooks. He would grab the arm. He had the hands out until the one movement. Once you put your hand on the back and it's right in front of the official, it's a real easy call.
I like it when you simplify it down to just that. Our viewers like that as well. Kurt Lewis outside to Honor. And the floater not that time.
And give Matthews credit. He ran quickly to Honor so Honor couldn't get the open shot, make him go off the dribble and have a tough floater.
Matthews, the handoff to Hubbard off the pump fake. Murphy wide open. And Missouri fine to let number 12 attempt that three-pointer. He's just 3 of 13 from downtown this season.
I'm shaking my head. That was off. Like, wow. He made 2 last game against Georgia.
Lewis the spin, swatted by Murphy, collected by Tolu Smith.
Boy, Murphy's long.
Against the shorter Carter. Outside to Shaq Moore. He remains perfect from three-point range.
He loves Mizzou Arena. Left corner, right corner, left corner this half, right corner, 4 threes, and shooting it well. Bulldogs have started strongly the second half. On the road, looking for their first SEC win. Shaq Moore might be the difference.
Gone nearly 3 minutes without a field goal, and that lead is expanded to 10. So whatever the scientists said, Chris Jans at halftime, not the dentist, the scientists, it has worked to perfection as well.
I'll go with you on that one. We'll go scientists. I'm looking at the Missouri team on this offensive end. You've got Nick Honor, but then where else do the buckets come from?
Honor's been red hot from distance.
Loves to step left to shoot the fader.
Lob to Vanover and picked off by Hubbard.
What a pass. What a pass. Wow, Shaq Moore on the money, but Tolu Smith running rim to rim.
And we've seen him sneak behind the defense a couple of times tonight. But Murphy defending Honor and the height advantage and the wingspan.
And Murph goes 6'10", and he's mobile, active. Where's the shot come from with this group?
Lewis was fouled, and Murphy clipped him. The lead at 12, and free throws coming for Mizzou. When we come back, you talked about dropping dimes. A brilliant look by Shaq Moore. And Tolu Smith anchoring this 7-0 run.
One day,
During his already quad serve in that latest bracketology update. I asked Chris Jans pregame too, Sonny, do you mention bracketology to your team? He looked at me and he said, no, I don't mention bracketology, but they know where we are. I got you, coach.
And then he said, I stare at it when I go to bed and then shut my phone off, and I wake up in the morning and I turn the phone on and what are they saying about us? You know, they had the great wins, the home wins against Tennessee and Auburn. And there's a lot of games left. We're just barely halfway through the conference season. And when you're in a great league like this one, there's a lot of big time games Big time wins on your schedule.
Chris Jan's year number 2. He came over from New Mexico State. Aggies made a deep run to the NCAA tournament. He's known nothing but big time wins throughout his head coaching career. Mizzou's got some work to do. They only trail by 10. Bulldogs have been the aggressor so far to begin our second half. And that pass by Matthews, errant right past Deshaun Davis. 9 turnovers for MSU.
I do like the movement by the Bulldogs on the offensive end. There's more movement. Matthews did throw that away, almost like a no look. Didn't even see where his teammate was. Right out of bounds. Jans wasn't happy.
Nick Honor scoreless in this second half. He has drawn some extremely large defenders. A double spin. And Zeus comes up empty.
And no double team. Now the Bulldogs will double team quite often, but they did not double team that time.
And Smith fouled from behind. Second team foul against the Tigers. Carolero picks up the personal. Bulldogs with 10 assists tonight on 15 field goals. I used to say 10 assists on 15 made field goals, and then I got an angry tweet one time that said, you don't have to say the made field goals if you mention the dimes in the conversation. I was like, you know what, you're right.
It's amazing,
learned something.
Amazing how many angry tweets you can get in a game.
They call it X now. I still call it Twitter.
There you go.
Tigers fall back into the matchup zone. It looks like Lewis charging on the 3. And Hubbard off the mark, tracked down by Tolu Smith. He's got 7 boards already.
One thing about Smith, he is very patient with the basketball and waits for double teams. Now, that shot should count, and they'll probably get Tolu Smith with a push underneath.
And the initial indication by Doug Shows, you are exactly correct. The 3-pointer's good. A foul by Smith. We'll take another look.
As the shot was in the air, Noah Carter trying to block out Tolu Smith. Shots in the air on the left side, and Tolu says, you're not as big as me. I'll just push you aside, but that's not legal. Noah sold it well also.
Doug Shows will take a secondary look at the monitor. The second foul on Tolu Smith.
Boy, Doug's a busy man.
I've been following him around, it feels like, the SEC the last couple of weeks, and he's always energetic and does a great job.
Yeah, he does.
That 3 was good. They'll verify that. They got it right the first time.
Well, step back, pretty good shot by Davis. Doesn't make a lot of threes, but he's now made 21 on the season. Just at 32%.
State of the SEC.
Transfer from Oregon State last year.
He started his career there in the Pac-12. I was going to say, Sonny, the state of the SEC, some interesting games we told you about earlier today. But the conference still has 9 teams in the field, according to Joe Lunardi, ESPN's bracketologist, including this Mississippi State team. Ole Miss is also on that bubble. Big win by Florida earlier today against Auburn at home. And boy, Florida's resume has really been boosted these last couple of weeks.
They are an impressive team. They've got great backcourt, the 3 guys that can all handle it and shoot it. And I love their bigs. They're long, they're lank, they run the floor, they rebound well. They don't necessarily establish low post and score, but that's what they don't need them for that. I had them at A&M last week when A&M beat them, but I was impressed with Florida, and I think they've just got a huge upside.
Road win at Kentucky, a win today against Auburn. That last foul on Deshaun Davis.
A dominating win again against Auburn.
Ball movements here on this possession for Nick Honor. And an offensive foul, the clear out, shoved down Shaq Moore.
Recovery, help and recover defensively. A staple for Chris Jans. Get after guys, and it's a hard call to get in today's rules. Guessed right. I thought Honor maybe should have taken that shot when he first caught it.
14 turnovers now for Mizzou, trailing by 13. Matthews, a clear path in the dunk.
Almost give an assist to Tolu Smith. He cleared out 2 guys. They've got Vanover on Matthews because Matthews does not look to score a lot. Vanover can kind of play center field.
Matthews got his hands on that one, nearly forced another turnover.
Keep an eye on what Tolu Smith does here when Cam Matthews puts it on the floor. He's going to block 1, 2 guys. Makes for an easy play.
On this eve of the Super Bowl, you'll see perhaps more of that tomorrow night. A lot of fans in this building interested to see what happens.
Who do you have tomorrow night?
I think Kansas City's in a really good spot, right?
That's a good answer since we have a lot of Mizzou fans watching.
I would think so. Quick trigger, Nick Honor. Davis the box out. He'll get it to Matthews.
I'll just tell you this: when the Chiefs won their first Super Bowl a couple years ago. Oh, nice play, strong. I wore my Chiefs sweatshirt on the air in a game. Dave Neal said you can't do that if they win. Now they're third. I said okay, that's fair. Strong move here, physical, tough, gets right into the big's body. And so what that means is that Vanover cannot even extend his arm to make a play on Matthews' shot.
6.7 boards, another 7-0 run for Mississippi State. Bulldogs already have their largest lead, and Chiefs fans thinking about tomorrow already. It's hard to go against Mahomes. You never know. You never know.
And then, hey, Vegas made him an underdog.
That was surprising.
Doesn't make sense.
They always know something that we don't know. We'll see if that continues to be the case tomorrow.
Well, Missouri needs an answer here. This is kind of typical of this losing streak of losing 10 games in the SEC. They have streaks where they don't score and get shots. And in this league, you can't do that because your opponent is going to put some points on the board.
It's now an 8-0 run. Davis thought about making it 11, so will Shaq. And now Hubbard. No look dive, and it's dropped perfectly to Matthews. The lead at 20, and here comes Mississippi State.
Share the basketball, move the basketball. Body movement, ball movement, make the defense chase you. Hubbard, the quickest out front, penetrates, drops it off. Matthews with another easy, powerful finish.
He's got 9 his last 2 coming up this flush variety. And now a 10-0 run in Mississippi State. Sonny shooting nearly 73% in the second half.
I thought, and I said this earlier, they came out in the second half with more energy and with more pace on the offensive end. I thought they sped the ball up the...
Something else to think about just down the stretch.
But think of the positive minutes guys are getting with DJ Jeffries being sidelined with a knee injury. And let's hope he gets back by next Saturday.
Nick Honor double team. It'll stay with Mizzou. 50-30. And it's a 17-2 run in the last 6 minutes. Mississippi State has been the dominant team recently, and these two programs have gotten together. 12 of the last 14 overall. Nick Honor going to start a comeback. Shoot 2. Third foul on number 3, Shaq Moore.
You know, the only way you get back in here is you've got to get defensive stops and then convert that to the other end. Get your open shooters shots more quickly, but you've got to get stops now defensively the next 7, 8, 9 possessions.
Nick Honor, 83% at the line. Coming up Wednesday night, come back right here to the SEC Network, a top 20 showdown, Auburn and South Carolina. In my opinion, Lamont Paris, head coach of the Gamecocks, the coach of the year in the SEC. I think he's got a great chance to be the national coach of the year. One of the big surprises in college basketball. Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern from Neville Arena.
They were picked 13th to finish in this league. And he's turned it upside down in Gamecock Nation. Been fun to watch. His teams are physical, they're tough, they're old, they're veteran, right? He's got some guys that know how to play. Cooper's fabulous out front.
His addition as the starting point guard, time at Minnesota, time at Morehead State, South Carolina native. He is one of the more valuable players for any team in this conference. Josh Hubbard connects.
The one Bulldog you would not leave open for any space would be Hubbard. Good steal.
Davis on the run, outside to Hubbard. He's got 13, short on that 3. foul called. I believe Nick Honor grabbed Jimmy Bell Jr. He was on the floor. So that's his third on number 10 in goal.
Sometimes, Roy, it's just not possible. Like they say, block out. Nick Honor is 5'10", 200 pounds. Jimmy Bell Jr., 6'10", 280. That's 80 pounds you're giving up.
That's a lot. And that pass, dead ball turnover. Tigers will get it back, and John, they haven't scored a field goal now in over 7 minutes.
You know, Tamar Bates has had a very quiet night. We mentioned at the Open that he is nearly 20 points a ball game in SEC play. And when you do that, you become the #1 target on the scouting report.
And important to point out and remind people, no Sean East tonight. Second straight game. Little give and go. And the dunk. Jones.
A perfect fast break.
It was like Showtime Los Angeles Lakers.
Woo. And if you're the single guy back on a 2-on-1/3-on-1 break, you got no choice if they're pitching it back and forth.
Carter to Bates, he'll get it up and in, and a chance for three on this end. Well, you want to talk about a fast break, and a brilliant one at that. Check out the passing here, ending in the soft mitts of the sophomore from Houston, John Jones, in your living room.
They're moving the ball, he's going to finish.
Big time performance tonight for number 4 in black. Tamar Bates at the line. One of 2. Make it 1 of 3. Just 5 points tonight for a player that has averaged nearly 20 points per game in conference play these last couple of weeks. Bell the floater. And a rare miss for Mississippi State in the second half.
Bell played just up the road in Moberly Junior College. 20 miles north of here, the Greyhounds. Patrick Smith still the coach there. He's done a great job.
Ripped away by Matthews. That is his 5th steal tonight. Jones the Euro, and he was fouled in the process. 18 turnovers for Mizzou. And that has been an ongoing issue this evening.
Sound like a broken record. I think it's all about the pace. The pace, their aggressiveness on the offensive end. To go from when they get the ball to the push. Not crazy shots. It's just the pace that they're putting pressure on this Tiger team defense to make their defense get back.
Davis stepped across the end line.
They have had a tough time with the underneath out of bounds. That's the 2nd turnover in the last 2 possessions there.
See, that's the expression right there. You mentioned coming out of the halftime break, which coach, you know, felt better about their position at halftime between Dennis Gates and Chris Jans. Which coach was happier? I think that was the phrase that you used. And the answer is neither. Coaches are never happy. They're never satisfied. Butler for 3. Tolu Smith with his longest rebound of the night. I mean, you as a former player, right? Did you ever achieve a satisfying feeling with what you did, Davis? No. I mean, knowing that you always wanted more. You wanted to improve and get better.
You're never satisfied. And the coaches I played for, no matter what level, were never satisfied.
Were they ever happy?
No, happiness is not part of the coaching profession.
Right.
That's why some choose not to coach.
I think broadcasters can get that way at times. They always want bigger games, better crews. Otter draws the foul. And he will shoot 2. 4th foul on Jones. Mississippi State on its way this evening. A 21-point lead. Halfway home in the second on the road. Chris Jans wants to stop those questions about when are you going to secure that first road win. Now coming up Thursday night right here on SEC Network, the ESPN app, the women's basketball doubleheader. The second game, our featured matchup, Jordan Cambridge on the road down to College Station against the Aggies. 9 Eastern, 8 Central, Thursday night, SEC Network and the ESPN app. More free throw for Nick Honor. At some point, you got to stop and smell the roses. You're winning games, you're scoring points, you're feeling good. You could be happy for a day, an open day maybe.
Yeah, but you're in this league, then you get ready for the next game.
And it's no layup.
Yeah, no layup.
Murphy for 3. Aiden Shaw checking in, grab that rebound. 6'8" sophomore from Overland Park. Lewis the spin on Smith outside to Carter. Almost banked home. Matthews the skip pass and a wide open 3.
Couple stops. Can Missouri get a basket or two to get on a somewhat of a roll? Make this interesting.
Hunter's been active. He'll dump it off to Carter. Nice cut. Noah Carter with his second basket.
Missouri's at 38 points. Wow.
Tolu Smith, double team. Does not matter. No, yes. That ball touched every inch of the rim. It rolled out and then came back down twice.
How about the catch on the ball? That pass looked like it could have been a turnover.
Carter stripped. Matthews again.
And again.
He had 2 steals basically on 1 possession. I don't know if they'll give him the first one. With a 19-point lead, Bulldogs will slow down the pace. Here's Tolu Smith. Foul. And a chance for 3. Tolu with 13 and
got 29 career games of doubles his career.
And part of that secret sauce is a right-handed player that plays like a left-handed player.
Yeah.
And that, again, I think that can be confusing for an opposing defender. If you overthink it, maybe you just treat him like a left-handed player.
He's got such good size and mobility. We've already seen him catch the basketball, so the ball doesn't have to be perfect for him to handle it.
John, what do you want to see from Mizzou in these final 7.5 minutes? Knowing you got a week before your next game, that's a good look and a good start for Aiden Shaw.
I think offensively they just got to get more movement. If they get stagnant, they're easy to guard. They're not great one-on-one players. But if the ball moves and you get movement from Carter, from Bates, and that time on the cut from Shaw, maybe you get something going. Maybe Robinson, the freshman guard, can get them in more movement. And if you do that, then you've got a little more energy.
Mentioned it is alumni weekend. We saw a bunch of former players honored at halftime, including former head coach Mike Anderson.
Yeah, it was neat that he came back. 2009, they went to the Elite 8. Damari Carroll was not back, but he was the one that led them to the Elite 8. He was the nephew of Mike Anderson. Played the NBA for 15 years.
Tigers get a stop. Open look for Bates.
Tough.
Murphy, the rebound.
Tough night for Bates. A rare one. He's been so good in SEC play. One of those rare numbers. He's over 50% from the field, over 40% from 3, and over 90% from the free throw line.
Tigers in a zone. Here's Josh Hubbard. Connects from downtown, and Hubbard with 16.
The release point of his jump shot, most guys, I don't care how big, tall you are, long you are, you're not getting to it because of where he releases it at the top. And sometimes he pulls it a little bit behind his head.
13 in black is only 5 feet 10 inches tall. was talking to some of the Mississippi State folks earlier today as Moore traveled. And there was a conversation that Josh Hubbard could get his elbows above the rim if need be. Think about that for a player that is only 5'11", and you see how high he gets there just on the jumper.
So the elevation, and you've got a terrific defender like Robinson coming at him, but it's, again, the ability of how quickly he can get it off. Like, he held that one a little bit. I mean, he's got such a release point and the quickness of it. Most guys, he'll get one occasionally blocked, but it'll be a mistake on his part.
Carter off the mark. Straight away at the top of the key. Here's Murphy attacking, spins it in.
That's 6'10", bringing it on the dribble.
And Bates whips that pass nearly out of bounds, but a turnover nonetheless, and another steal for guess who?
How many steals does Matthews have tonight?
It's 6 before that possession. On my count, that would make it 7. It's a good night at the office. Hubbard, a deep 3. Nearly tracked down his own miss. 64-40.
Probably fortunate he didn't keep that in bounds because he was the shooter. He went for the rebound. There were 2 Tigers going the other way.
5:09 remaining, and Mississippi State in control tonight and on the verge of securing that road victory.
Missouri with 14 points only in this second half.
The last lead for the Tigers coming way back at 6-5. As we just got underway here in Como. And the last game of the day, the last game to tip off. Another eventful weekend in the SEC.
Were you surprised by the Florida score with Auburn?
The margin of victory and how that second half unfolded, yes. But Auburn coming off an emotional win against its arch rival, Neville Arena in Alabama, back on Wednesday night. I mean, look, those letdowns are bound to happen. Bruce Pearl didn't like it. Jimmy Bell's going to shoot a pair of free throws here. I was more surprised with what Gonzaga did in Lexington. And I know we've talked a lot about Kentucky's defense. At some point, that will get better. You've got Dillingham and guys that are athletic, you feel like should be able to get the job done. It's a big win for the Zags, outside of the SEC, of course.
The Zags needed that win.
They did, which is shocking to think about, as good as Mark Few has been for decades now in Spokane.
To think that Mark Few has a winning percentage of just over 83%, staggering.
Hard to understand.
And has scheduled play anybody, play anywhere for a number of years.
Well, I did like the scheduling of that game in the middle of conference play. I don't think Cal likes it. I don't think any coach likes it.
No.
But as a fan, as a broadcaster, it changes things up a little bit. Like when we used to do the Big 12 SEC Challenge at the end of January. I thought that was always a nice change up. And Jones was fouled pretty hard. And Bell flew right past him to check that Butler. And Jones limping after the fact.
Butler almost got the worst of that. Now Jones came down on his ankle. See which one turns. I think he'll be all right.
We'll take a look at that sequence. 4:18 remaining, and it is all MSU. Butler
swing down a little bit, but it was body to body.
Now Joe Lunardi will watch the end of this game tonight, check over his notes, get set to release the updated bracketology tomorrow. And if you live in Starkville, the Magnolia State, or a fan of Mississippi State, I think you will like his update, because your team, at least according to my simple arithmetic, will remain on the right side of the bubble. The good side.
You know, if you're any of these teams, A&M, Mississippi State, Florida, Ole Miss, If you're any of those squads, you would like to get on about a 5-game winning streak.
A heater.
Just to get rid of 10, you know, Florida 11. You want to get to where you got a 7, 8, or 7 or 8 by.
You make it sound so easy.
Yeah, it is. Just win some games.
Texas A&M currently leading Tennessee in College Station over on ESPN. We give you permission to go check that out, but come back. Watch the end of this one. Lewis harassed by Davis. Bates will check out the shot block and launch. Honor will track down the rebound.
Good hustle.
And the one thing you will say, and Dennis Gates will confirm it for you, the effort has remained despite losing 70 games. Regular rotational players out of the mix this season. They have not given up. They've dealt with their lion's share of adversity. I asked Coach Gates today, have you ever had a season like this? He said, I've never heard of a season like this, where they're essentially without 3 starters. Assistant coach has had to take a leave of absence to fight cancer. There's one right there with Caleb Grill, the wrist injury that occurred against Wichita State way back in the early stages of non-conference play. He hasn't been cleared yet. He's practicing a little bit, but not absorbing a lot of contact. And Sean East, obviously not playing these last 2 ball games, all significant.
Yeah, East obviously the big scorer. Caleb Grill. There's John Tonji. Has missed quite a bit of the season. Caleb Grill, I think they miss his toughness.
They do.
Transfer from Iowa State. Now, he didn't shoot it well yet in his first few games that he was here. Played 9 games, had not shot it well, but he did shoot it well when he was at Iowa State, so you expected that would get better. But his toughness, physical, he could guard a lot of guys. So you miss that. Tanji really didn't play much, had 8 games. Take a look at all the injuries. Trent Pierce has had some issues, inner ear infection, which then you miss games, you're kind of off balance, so he's not playing.
Add up that total, it's a lot of missed production for Missouri this season.
Nobody in the league, though, feels sorry for you.
They will not.
When you line up to play them.
That is correct.
You know, we talked to Chris Jans this morning. You know, they've got guys out, banged up, a little shorter rotation. But when a guy like DJ Jeffries did not play last game or this game, all of a sudden minutes go somewhere else. And that really may help your team in the long run.
Honor banging inside. That'll pop out to Jones. And coast to coast, high off the glass. Jones with 7.
Wow, athletic. Tough shot.
SEC and the Big 12, I think, are battling to see who's going to have the best conference in the country. Bates will shoot a pair. Joe Lunardi with both conferences, 9 teams in the field now. Of course, that could change. The Big 12 could end up with, I don't know, a 14-team tie with all their teams at 9-9 by the end of the regular season. I mean, it's been fun to watch that conference as well. But here, this league's got a chance to get maybe 9 or 10 teams in by the time it's all said and done.
You know, you think when you go past that, which teams, you know, Georgia has had so many close ball games that if they'd have won a couple of those, they jump into the mix, right? LSU was kind of making a little bit of a run, but now they've given up some. Well, obviously their defense has not been very good last couple ball games.
Right. Not sure who we will get for the post-game interview, and that could be a studio interview for our guys back in the studio. Dari, Slay, Fish. I want the first question, if it's Chris Jans, to be about the road win, and let's just see what the reaction is, because I think he's chomping at the bit to tell everybody, hey, we told you this was coming. We've won away from Starkville, just not a true road game. And by the way, we've got more in us as we get deeper into this SEC regular season. That could be a good soundbite.
What an impressive second half by this Bulldog squad.
Impressive on defense, impressive offensively. The shooting percentage has been well above 70% in the second half. They've outscored Mizzou 43-18. To seize control, Carter's got a chance for three. You saw Guy get that last bucket, which drew a rousing applause from his teammates on the bench. Guy Chol connecting. That's the one thing you do like this time of year, where you get some of your reserve players some much needed playing time. Some of these games to get away from you if you have the advantage. And 34 in black, it really lifts team morale. Little used players come in, make a basket, everybody feels better afterwards, and that plane flight home feels a little more jovial, if you will.
And if you get the win on the road, man, what a good flight it is home.
.90 seconds remaining here in Columbia. Murphy outside to Davis, and now Jones for three. Both teams will get a much-needed break, having the Wednesday, Tuesday night game off this week. Nick Honor for three. Myers will rip away the rebound. Adrian Myers, a freshman from Virginia, on the floor.
Well, we talked about the week off for Mississippi State. Same for Missouri. Time to rest up, get everybody healthy. And for the Bulldog squad to make a push down the stretch.
Myers a step back. There it is. All net for number 2.
Talked about him today with the coaches. They said offensively, terrific shooter. May need a little work on the defensive end when you're going to play for Coach James.
Checks out. Tip back is good. That's Aiden Shaw. Dominant win on the road for Mississippi State. About a 9-second differential between shot and game clock. 75-49 is a good night at the office, offense and defense.
Yeah, second half was, I think Mississippi State would like to bottle that up. Defensively solid, offensively ball moved. Guys shot it well. Oh my, that's a good.
Myers off the mark, ahead to Bates. And the dunk. Give Mizzou 51, which should be the final points of the night. 75-51. And Mississippi State gets it done on the road. Biggest win of the season for MSU. The lowest point total of the year for Missouri. Bulldogs improved to 16-8, 5-6 in the SEC. And Mizzou now at 8-16, still in search of that first conference win.
Good win, partner, for this Bulldog team. They needed to get on the road. They needed to win on the road, and they got it. Took care of business, and that's what you have to do.
Tolu Smith with 13, Shaq Moore with 14, Josh Hubbard with 16 to lead the charge.